I had high noon over the weekend. Shit is delicious.
I've never had
really
it.
good.
It's actually good.
Yeah.
It's the best of all the seltzers.
Damn, I talked all this shit about it too.
No, it's really good.
It's the best of all the seltzers. Welcome to the Fantasy Beer League, where you get half-decent advice from half-decent guys. I'm your host, Sean Joyce. With me, as always, is Woody's favorite deputy, Justin Giel, and our resident fantasy football expert, Matt Senni. How you guys feeling today? How's that burp? That clear you out? You ready to talk?
I was expecting more, but yeah, I'm ready to talk.
Okay. And Senni, how's that beer? That looks really good.
It's awesome.
All right.
I'm really glad I picked it.
We'll talk about it in a bit. We're going to start with the best team in the league, in my opinion, the Kansas City Chiefs. So when you think about this team, there's a lot of talent, obviously.
Of course.
And at the main positions, there's guys that are, by far and away top tier at their position. How high are you willing to draft Patrick Mahomes?
Honestly, for me personally, if I can get a good running back, maybe a good 2 running backs, and either a wide receiver or one of the top 3 tight ends, I might look to take him in the 3rd or 4th round.
Okay.
Round out my top skill players, and then the rest just fill them in.
The earliest I'd be willing to do it in a standard league would be the 4th round, so I'm not that far off from you. I just feel like that position is so deep while the others are very shallow.
I did say in my note here that I said latter end of the 3rd.
Yeah.
So if I have a snake draft, probably go later 3rd, or if I can, just take him 4th.
3rd or 4th, I do think is very fair. He's guaranteed to be top 3 at the position.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's consistent year over year. Obviously, the volume is there. They're going to throw the shit out of the ball like they always do.
Yeah.
And they're just so talented. Their scheme is excellent. I feel like someone will take him in the 3rd round. I personally don't feel comfortable that early.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't look at you twice if you did. It's 1st or 2nd in a standard league anyway. Not feeling that.
Yeah,
I feel like that's too much, too rich for my blood. Same question for Travis Kelsey, Justin. How highly would you draft him?
If you can get a stud running back in the 1st round, I would look to take him in a 2nd round. The wide receiver position this year is very deep.
Yes,
and
it is.
He's pretty much a 3rd wide receiver that you're starting week in and week out.
He is 4th overall for me. So I have him.
4th overall,
yes,
wow.
I have Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Travis Kelsey.
Wow.
If he's still there, I'm probably going to take him.
And I think that's a good idea. I mean, he's 5 straight years he's been the number 1 tight end in fantasy.
Yeah.
We talk all the time about how shallow that position is. There's really only 3 that you want. So I think the value of Travis Kelsey is just astronomical. It gives you an advantage at that position every single week.
Yeah.
And like I said, 5 straight years of being number 1.
It's unreal. Yeah.
He is the closest thing to money in the bank in fantasy. I don't know why that was so funny to you.
Because I couldn't have come up with it. It was,
I've probably heard it somewhere else before.
Okay.
It's fresh in my mind for some reason. I might as well finish this conversation with Tyreek Hill here. How high do you have him ranked?
2nd round talent for me. Just because I feel like with our league, a lot of the running backs are going to go 1st round. So probably 2nd round. If he slips to the 3rd round, take him.
He definitely won't slip to the 3rd.
Yeah.
I also have
I
have a 1st round grade on him as well. And that's mostly because I have concerns about Alvin Kamara without Drew Brees, Saquon Barkley coming back from injury, and Zeke after a disappointing season last year. That's my 2nd tier of running backs after the 3 I previously mentioned.
Sure.
So I'd rather have Kelsey, Davante Adams, and Tyreek Hill before that next tier of running backs. As you alluded, running back is more valuable, and most of the time I would completely agree with what you're saying, but I personally have some reservations about that tier.
Yeah.
So I'd rather take a Tyreek Hill and then look to get like an Aaron Jones type, Nick Chubb type.
So Aaron Jones isn't going 3rd overall?
He might. It's possible. It's happened before.
Where's Andy drafting?
Actually, yeah, he's out of the league, so it probably won't happen.
Yeah.
Andy, maybe Andy would take him. I don't know. It's interesting. Man, 3rd overall pick Aaron Jones. I completely forgot that he went that high last season. And that motherfucker won the league.
I can't believe it.
Shout out to Sean Peoples. Wrapping up with this team, I know we've been talking for a bit longer than we normally do on team previews. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a post-hype sleeper for me. He had a disappointing rookie season. He was drafted in the 1st or 2nd round in most leagues last year. Idiots like me said that he was going to be great. Overhyped him a little bit. I think he's at a more reasonable cost now. So you can get him as a mid-tier running back too in the late 3rd, early 4th round. And I think that's where he should be drafted. And he has obvious upside still for running back 1 numbers if they make him a workhorse and if he improves as a pass catcher and gets more playing time. So I like CEH more this year. I'm not shying away from him just because I was wrong about him last season.
Sure.
And then there's other wide receivers on the team. You can always draft a Mecole Hardman or a Byron Pringle in the late rounds. That hasn't worked out yet.
Yeah.
But everybody in that offense has the opportunity to score. And speaking of opportunity to score, Harrison Butt Kicker, top 3 kicker for me. Love the motherfucker.
I mean, when you have a team that scores as much as they do, it's hard to not put them that high.
Well, that's the logic, man. You got to get a kicker and a good offense.
Yeah.
And don't draft your kicker until the last round. That's like a big.
That's rule number
must.
1 in fantasy.
Senni doesn't always do that, but
I normally take them pretty early.
yeah. So Senni, can you name me a running back on the Las Vegas Raiders?
Damn it. I couldn't even told you what division the Raiders were in.
Well, we're doing the West. So,
No, I know that.
yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's funny.
Okay.
No, Carr is the quarterback, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's driving the bus.
Choo choo. This train.
Car, not a bus. Train, also not a car or a bus.
I don't think I know. I don't think I.
Not one?
I don't think I do.
All right. So you might remember Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, but I couldn't place him on that team.
So they have him. And then they also added Kenyon Drake. So knowing that, how do you feel about your boy Josh Jacobs, Justin?
I think his value drops a little bit. Kenyon Drake's got that. I feel like his role was to ruin a fantasy day for a starting running back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's going to
one of my teams.
Yeah, and I think you had him in this league last year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And he only went off when you're playing me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's going to happen a lot this year. And I think they're looking to take a lot off of Jacob's plate.
Yeah, he's had a lot of injuries as a young player.
Yeah, which fantasy-wise isn't going to play into his favor.
Yep. So just a quick note, last season Josh Jacobs finished as running back 8 despite the lack of efficiency and lack of scoring. I mean, I could have sworn I saw John Gruden give that guy the ball 3 times straight on first and goal, and he didn't score. But he lacks, I should say, receiving talent. Jalen Richard is still there, as we recently learned.
Yep.
But Kenyon Drake is a better pass catcher than Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
So I expect this to be a committee. I have Jacobs as a flex option at best.
Yep.
Inside my top 25, but outside my top 20. Darren Waller is the top 3 tight end. I talk about those tight ends all the time.
I didn't know he was 4 or 5 years sober?
Yes, he's an excellent story. You should read about him
Yeah.
if you haven't. He's got a great history.
After you watch this video.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can go do that and then come back. I mean, that's definitely more interesting than
You
anything
read
I'm
about
gonna
him while
talk
you're
about.
listening to the podcast.
Yeah, do that. That's good advice too, Justin. But yeah, Darren Waller, great story, great player.
Yeah.
Almost didn't even pan out as a player at all
Yeah.
until he got himself clean. So he really turned his life around. Always love to hear stories like that. There's a few wide receivers on this team that I like as sleepers. Henry Ruggs 3, obviously disappointed as a rookie, but the talent is undeniable.
Yeah.
You got to assume they're going to give him more looks. And a guy I've heard a lot about last year's camp and this year's camp is Brian Edwards, who will likely start opposite now that Nelson Aguilar has left the team.
Where'd he go?
He is on New England.
Wow.
Yeah. But both those guys are outside my top 40, so this is like end of draft flyers. I mean, I can't talk about the obvious names all the time. So those are just little nuggets if you're looking for a sleeper to take. Moving on to the Chargers, Justin Herbert is good at football.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
I have him as the 8th ranked quarterback on my board. He's somebody that I'm looking to target in most of my drafts because I personally like to wait on quarterback in a standard league. He had over 4,000 yards and 31 passing touchdowns as a rookie, which is very impressive. And he's mobile enough to add some rushing appeal on a weekly basis as well. How high are you on his teammate Austin Eckler, Justin?
It's tough because Eckler is very talented. I know he missed, 5 games or so last year, and he still had he had a good amount of production. So when he's healthy, I think he's top 5 in the league, but he's missed a lot of time over the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. So that would be my main reservation with him. I think if I can get him later in the first round, I would probably pull the trigger and take him. But I mean, I do like him. It's just I'm worrisome when it comes to drafting him.
I have him as a 2nd round guy. I rank him as running back 10, so he's just on the cusp of a running back 1 for me. His damage comes in PPR. Herbert does not check the ball down the way that old quarterbacks on that team used to. But I still think he has value, obviously, in PPR. Not much volume as a rusher. He's never had more than 600 rushing yards in a season, so don't expect him to score a lot of touchdowns. I think the hype on him is a little overplayed, but I have heard early reports from new offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi, who was the quarterback's coach with the Saints, that they're looking to use Austin Eckler the way that they used Alvin Kamara. Now, how much of that is true, who knows? There's a lot of smoke, especially this early in the season.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, he's a guy that I think has good value as a late running back one, second, maybe end of first if you're higher on him than I am. His teammate Keenan Allen, however, I think is an elite option when healthy, and you can get him at great value. I think he has top 5 potential on a weekly basis, and you can get him as a low-end wide receiver one.
Yeah.
So we're talking 3rd or 4th round, you can get a guy like Keenan Allen, which is just insane.
Yeah.
Opposite of Keenan Allen, we have Mike Williams. He's discussed every year as a sleeper. I've had enough. It hasn't worked out so far.
No, he's got 2 good games a year.
Yeah,
and he's always a free agent on those games.
Yeah, so I'm done with him.
Yeah.
No interest. And Jared Cook, their tight end. Somehow always relevant, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about him. But
No.
Do you remember Jared Cook, Senni?
I remember the name for sure, more than Mike Williams. This
Okay.
name I'd never heard before.
Well, for good reason.
Yeah.
Senni, can you name for me an offensive player on the Broncos?
Man, I'm really thinking now. Because this is a team that I don't look at at all.
They're very forgettable.
Don't feel bad.
Dude, they're just one of the teams that I could care less about.
I'm looking at the names. I'm like, I don't know who these guys are.
No, and you know what's funny is you're gonna name these guys, I'm gonna know every name, but
I don't know if you will.
I don't know. A lot of them are deep cuts.
Yeah.
No, I feel like I should, but I really just can't think of anyone.
I think there might be one.
Which one do you think?
Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon 3 is their running back.
It's a name I know, but I wouldn't have thought Broncos.
Yeah.
Used to be the Chargers running back.
Yeah, he was.
Used to be great when he was on the Chargers.
Yeah, and they also have 2 quarterbacks. There's a quarterback competition there with Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. Horsecock Lock.
Drew Lock is the one that I should have been able to
You
pull
said-
out of my...
Probably
it's the only
because-
one I should have been able to pull out of my
You said
ass.
cock, and he's like, I remember
Yeah,
Drew Lock.
it's probably because I called him Horsecock Lock one
Yeah,
time last
definitely.
season. So, Justin, since there's no clear stars on this team, as we have just previously covered,
Yep.
who do you like for fantasy purposes?
I felt like I had to pick people, so I picked Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton.
Okay.
I think Judy's going to take a hit. I think he had the production last year because Sutton was out. I think with Sutton coming back, if he's healthy, it's going to cut into Judy's time. But they're talented wideouts. I would see him mostly as a flex option. Other than that, I don't know that I would
I think
reach.
you made those 2 names up because I've never heard either of those names.
Cortland's not a common first name.
No.
It's just I really try to think of if they ever even said those names before, and I'm like, no, they sound like strangers.
Yeah, we probably didn't talk about them much. They weren't very fantasy relevant. Cortland Sutton only played the first game last season.
Yeah.
So Jerry Jeudy is the second option I like. Cortland Sutton is my preferred option.
Yeah.
He missed pretty much all of last season, but the season before he had over 1,100 yards on 72 catches. He's being drafted as a wide receiver 3. It wouldn't shock me if he finished in the wide receiver 2 range. So I think he's great value for later in the draft. Another guy I like to take late is Javonte Williams, rookie running back. More upside than Melvin Gordon 3. Phillip Lindsay is gone.
Yeah.
He could push for lead back duties as the season progresses. I kind of think the way that Cam Akers was last season, where he didn't play much of the season, and then the more we got into the deep playoff push, they started trusting him more. I could see the same type of thing happening for Javonte Williams.
Yep, sure.
That's my late round running back that I'm trying to get in all my drafts. And then Noah Fant is still there, who's around a top 10 fantasy tight end. Again, another option, as we've named a million on this podcast about guys that you can take if you miss out on the big 3 of Kelsey, Kittle, and Waller. So that's halfway through our episode.
I also, real quick, did read about Noah Fant. I wrote a note about him, but forgot to mention it. that they're going to incorporate him into multiple different schemes this upcoming year.
Good. He's good.
I don't know what that means. I don't know if it'll pan out. I don't know if I trust him.
Well,
as you were.
You weren't taking him as a high-end guy anyway. So
no, I said if big three are taken, maybe take him later in the draft.
Yeah, late round. That's what we're talking about here. Now let's talk about what we are drinking. I'll go first. I'm drinking Double 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 by New Image Brewing Company in Denver, Colorado, home of Horse Cocklock and Teddy Two Gloves. This is a triple dry hop.
He does wear 2 gloves. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to be wrong.
No, he does. Yeah, he does.
You
don't want to pay the fine in case you were wrong?
No.
Okay. So this is a triple dry hopped double IPA. It's brewed with Simcoe Strata and Idaho Gem. I've never heard of Idaho Gem before, but I like the way this tastes. It's super fruity, just like me, and it's smooth as hell. So I am really enjoying this hazy boy. I'll give you guys a sip, but while I am drinking, why don't you tell the people at home what you're drinking, Justin?
Sure. So I am drinking Never Ending Haze. It's from Stone Brewing. They're in Escondido, California, just outside of San Diego. 4% hazy IPA. I think the can either sat a little bit longer or got hot and then cold, but it's still not that bad. Nice low drinker or low ABV drinking beer. It's decent. It's nothing great, but I'm enjoying it.
Happy to hear.
Yeah.
Sip for sip.
Absolutely.
And Senni, what do you got there in your tall glass?
I just fucking remember that I have to know how to pronounce these people's names or I'm going to have to pay this fine. I'm drinking E.T. Stay Home, which I thought was just a hilarious name. It actually happens to have the number 17 on it.
There you go.
Which obviously matters. And it's a sour with blueberry, raspberry, lime, and marshmallow from Evil Twin Brewing. I do not know where New York. It says it blatantly right there.
Yeah.
I think it's great, honestly. I think it's one of the better beers I've had.
I think it's the best beer at this table, personally.
I agree.
So what would you like to talk about today, Senni?
So I want to talk about chain restaurants.
Oh, hell yeah.
Good one.
So basically since like the middle of college to like early living with my wife, a lot of times if we were going to go out to eat, we would go to Applebee's, which has basically made me realize today that I am the most garbage husband on the planet. Because there's like there's a bunch of Applebee's like by where we went to school.
Yeah.
So it's just like an easy thing to do. Like you go to Applebee's, you'd get like the 2 for $25, whatever like their deal was. And when you would leave, you'd realize you'd pay $50 if you got like drinks there, and you basically immediately regretted that you went to Applebee's. I'm a very tough customer to please. I complain about like the littlest things.
I'm just picturing Senni in a wife beater taking his wife to Applebee's.
Yep.
I'm very like judgmental where like I'm just like if you're not back like immediately, like I get annoyed very easily. And I basically realized that Applebee's food sucks. Yeah. And over the years, like I've gone back here and there, and after COVID, we went for like the first time. There's one in Audubon, and it was like the worst experience ever. The woman made fun of me because I wanted chicken fingers and it wasn't on the 2 for $25 anymore. And she's like, well, maybe it's time to grow up and stop eating chicken fingers. I'm like, oh, fuck you. Like,
Damn.
So like I like basically got bullied by my waitress and never wanted to go back ever again. So as I've gone out with you guys and like our other friends and we've gone to like actual bars and restaurants, I basically realized that this place is garbage. Mm-hmm. So we've talked in the past about some other places, and I basically realized that like I've either gone to Applebee's or Fridays like my whole life, and I've never been to a majority of the chains that people talk about, which is pretty ridiculous. But I see it as like this is the place you take your kids after a little league game, and I haven't played baseball since I was 8, so maybe that's why I've never been to these other places. So knowing that my opinion is that Applebee's is garbage, I'm curious what all of us think are some of the actually decent chain restaurants that are out there.
I think to qualify for working at Applebee's, you have to be like a high school or college dropout.
Yeah.
And you have to have, no people skills whatsoever.
Minimal amount of teeth.
Yes. No like pride in your work, no work ethic whatsoever.
You have to smoke.
So I won't use a name here, but this is a great story. So me, Sean, and a bunch of us went to the Applebee's in Burlington, and like we were just talking, like hanging out.
Yeah, that one is like a really bad Applebee's too.
And this girl that I used to date walks up to seat us, and I had fucked this girl over, had not like seen her, and I literally just said, "Wow." That was my response. I just turned, I was just like, "Wow."
Amazing.
So it was super uncomfortable. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll never go back to that Applebee's again.
It's terrible. I actually like Fridays
Yeah.
a decent amount. I love their beer pretzel.
Yeah.
Their drinks are solid, good cocktails. Beer list is bad, but that's pretty much every.
Any chain
Yeah, any
restaurant.
chain
They love to incorporate Jack Daniels into as many menu items as they can.
They do, but the Jack Daniels burger is fire.
Yeah.
God
awesome.
damn, it's delicious.
The Jack Daniels ribs there,
Also sound good.
really good.
And Fridays, I think, has the best seasoned fries.
Yes.
Yeah, I just had them for the first time in a long time, and they were really good. Their appetizers, the ones that are in like
Yeah.
this, they're all good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you can buy them in the grocery store.
Yes, you can. They have them frozen.
I got to watch professional hacky sack there.
What?
Oh,
I got to watch like professional cornhole is what I mean. And
Oh.
they were like
That's
it
even
was-
better.
Dude, they were all sponsored. They had
Yeah.
I was like
Which Fridays was this?
by the AMC in Cherry Hill. It's like
Okay,
literally same
yeah.
parking lot.
Yeah.
Dude, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like there was like a bean company. Like a really
Bushes.
It was Bush's. It's exactly what it was. And it was on their shirts.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So Bush sponsored these guys. And
To
it was
throw
fun.
beanbags.
It was so fucking funny, man. It was awesome.
It's
to
the
watch.
ACL. I watched it a lot.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. Johnsonville Classic every 4th of July.
Yep.
That's so funny.
So, Justin, I'll nominate one more restaurant that I like, and you can nominate one for yourself.
Sure.
I also like Red Robin.
There you go.
I think their burgers are solid, and they have these beer milkshakes
Oh, yeah.
that are to die for.
Yeah.
They're like 1,000 calories each,
Okay.
but it's like Guinness, Jameson, and vanilla ice cream.
I just bought another 4-pack of the Guinness Nitro Cold Brew Coffee Stout.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
It's delicious. I
Yeah.
really like it.
Um,
As you were.
But yeah, so it tastes kind of like an Irish car bomb,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
which is really good in my. I got one of my favorite
Yeah.
shots to do.
It's awesome.
And they give you unlimited fries. So when you finish your fries, you can send
get
them
more,
back
yeah.
and get more.
That's awesome.
So Justin, give us one more nominee.
So, I love Fridays, love Red Robin, but Chili's has my heart. I love Chili's. Margaritas,
Baby back, baby back, baby
yeah.
back,
The
baby.
commercials, the margaritas, their quesadillas, anything that you get from there, you're leaving satisfied. Queso's really good.
Queso is good at Chili's. I'll give you that. Chili's is solid. I think of the Chili's, Fridays, Applebee's. Applebee's is bottom tier.
Yeah.
Applebee's is David Montgomery.
Yep. Can't read. Just bad.
Fridays is like De'Aaron Jones. It's serviceable and solid
Third overall in this.
in all capacity.
Yeah.
Chili's is probably the best of the best, I would say, because it's got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Who would I say they're more like? Maybe like an Ezekiel Elliott, because I have had situations where Chili's is fumbled.
They fumbled the bag. Yeah.
Yeah, but most of the time Chili's is solid. All right.
Vince,
Does-
you have any opinion?
They are technically a chain now. I like Recovery Sports Bar.
I actually like Recovery. I know most people don't.
Recovery's food is really good.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of
service is terrible.
when you're getting your food.
Now, are
Yeah.
they still open? Because I was checking
Yeah.
today.
Yeah,
actually.
they are. They are.
Okay.
Where's the
but
other one?
There's a bunch of them around the country.
I'm gonna Google this.
I'm going right
I went there for my 21st birthday.
I went there for Vince's brother's 21st birthday.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I don't know if it's a chain. I mean, there might be like 4 or 5. All right.
Is Recovery better than Landmark? Which is technically a chain because there are 4 of them.
Yeah. I'd say yeah.
I would too. Landmark's
say
food
yeah.
is decent, but not that great.
Yeah. The service at Landmark is better
Yeah, absolutely.
by a little.
Yeah.
Vince, I see 1.
I don't
Oh,
know.
well.
I think they just made up Recovery one day. So
Well, no, they have them. They used to have menus inside the bar that says other locations, but I think that they're just closed.
They needed somewhere for you to go when you got off exit 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They have Albany, New York, Amsterdam, New York, East Green Rush, New York, West Hampton, New Jersey, Queensbury, New York, Troy, New York, Verona, New York, Charleston, West Virginia, Chesapeake, Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, and then Port St. Lucie, Florida.
I think that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Now I want cheerleader wings from Recovery.
I like Recovery's food, man.
Yeah,
I like their food.
But you're there forever.
you are.
That's why I don't. Yeah.
Forever.
My biggest gripe with them is whenever we order there to pick it up, they always forget something.
Yeah.
Smooth transitions. Seattle Seahawks. I think there's a Seattle Seahawks helmet at Recovery Sports Grill.
I think it's the old one too.
The old one.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's the retro from the 90s. I
Yeah.
like that one. Russell Wilson, hot and cold throughout the season, as always.
Always is.
Still a clear quarterback one in my mind. I rank him in a tier with Aaron Rodgers and Justin Herbert. So he's the 6 to 8 range for me. Comfortable taking him as my number one guy, but I am going to expect some down weeks because they're always there for him.
Mm-hmm.
How high are you on his top weapons, Donkey Kong, Cock, Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett?
I mean, in my opinion, I would want Metcalf before Lockett any day.
Well,
I think.
who wouldn't?
Yeah, I think Metcalf is. I mean, I think he's a stud in the league.
Specimen of a being.
Yeah.
Yes. Bigger or smaller than your mic, Justin? Down to the mic stand.
Ooh.
I think that's right around the sweet spot.
Yeah. Please don't Photoshop.
I think you're
that
Yeah,
gassed,
please
but I do
do.
think he's probably as big as that mic.
If you Vince, if you can just Photoshop DK Metcalf standing at the base of Justin's microphone.
thing. Make it the thumbnail. But I don't know. I feel like Lockett's very similar to Russell Wilson, and where like he'll have those weeks where he goes the fuck off, and then you don't hear from him for 6 weeks.
Yep, I 100% agree with everything you're saying. Metcalf is wide receiver 6 for me overall, over 1,300 yards last season, 10 touchdowns. Lockett, like you said, super up and down. He had 100 catches last season, which is great, but 7 games with 4 fewer receptions,
Yeah.
which is just ridiculous to me. So almost half the games he's played, he's unusable.
Yeah.
The other, he'll have games with 12 catches for 200 yards and a touchdown, but the other weeks it's 2 for 40. Like, that's not getting
It's
it
not
done.
going to do anything.
So the boom bust of him leaves him as a wide receiver 3 for me. Chris Carson, guy I love.
Hasn't hung out with us.
No, not yet, but he might because I'm giving him a new nickname. I would like to call him the Mattress.
Please continue.
He's always slept on.
Oh. Okay.
In ESPN's rankings, he's sandwiched between J.K. Dobbins and David Montgomery.
What?
He is way better than both of those guys.
Yeah.
Good volume and a touchdown machine when he's healthy. That is the only drawback on my boy Mattress. Every now and then, he'll get a little banged up and miss some time. But I think he's a solid running back, too.
There is a giant lantern fly on the screen over there.
I'm wearing
There
my
always
shoes.
are. Oh. Senni has his shoes on. You can't go out there. Sorry. But like I said, great value
Yeah.
for my boy
Yeah.
Mattress.
Walmart.
Walmart, because he slept on?
No, great value. Isn't that the Walmart brand?
Is it?
I thought that was Acme.
I thought it was Acme, too.
Producer?
Vince is back to Googling. Hopefully this one's a little faster. I'm going to keep
Vince's search
talking
history
so I don't
is going to
lose
be
my
Recovery
place.
Sports Bar and then Walmart brand.
You're right, exactly. Let's keep it moving here. Senni, who is the quarterback for the Rams?
The Rams?
Yes.
Well, I thought it was Herbert, but it's not. He's wait, I'm not right, am I?
Not even a
No,
little bit.
because he's on the Chargers now, right?
Herbert, yes.
Is it the same person it was last year?
Maybe.
You're saying that person is in competition?
No.
Maybe. That doesn't help.
I'm not giving you a hint is all I'm saying.
Justin's right. It is Walmart.
Oh, Walmart, great value. So you can call him Walmart and I'll call him the Mattress.
Yeah,
and
he's
maybe
not
he'll wanna
hanging
hang
out
out
with
with us. Yeah.
Hey, Walmart
I
brand
really feel
mattress.
like I know this. Are they white?
Yes, it's a white person.
Well, I was picturing like a white guy.
It is a white guy.
White guy, yeah.
I'm gonna be so pissed when you tell me. Just tell me.
Matthew Stafford.
No, yeah, it's not at all.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford got traded for each
Goff
other.
is who I was thinking.
Yeah,
of.
Goff was the quarterback for the Rams. Now he's on the Lions.
Yes.
And now Matthew Stafford
Yep.
is on the Rams.
Yeah, I would have said Jared Goff if I had managed to think of a name.
Fair enough. He's not very memorable, so I don't
But
blame
he is
you.
white, so.
And he is a white guy. He is a white guy, and he was there last year. And he is not Justin Herbert. So how does the arrival of Matthew Stafford impact Rams receivers, Justin?
I think it gives him a boost. I mean, since he's come into the league, Stafford's really always been a gunslinger.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to spread the ball out. Cup, Woods, they're going to get their targets.
Yeah, I really don't think it matters much, but if anything, it is a positive thing.
Yeah.
I think he's a better quarterback than Jared Goff, for sure. Both those guys have gotten theirs in that offense. It's an offense that is designed to create space for their top playmakers. So Robert Woods I have as a solid wide receiver 2, one of the most consistent wide receivers in fantasy football. Every year he gives you wide receiver 2 production. Cooper Kupp I have as a low-end wide receiver 2. I think you can get him at a better value than a Robert Woods. Both receivers had at least 90 catches each of the last 2 years, which is enough volume for me to like them.
Works for me, yeah.
And their running back is banged up and out for the year.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles, right?
Yes.
That sucks.
It does suck because I was very high on him. I would love to talk him up, but unfortunately I'm not able to. Next man up is Daryl Henderson Jr. How high should he be drafted, Justin?
I mean, for me, it's tough to tell. I probably wouldn't look anywhere before like the 8th round, myself personally. Is where I'd feel comfortable saying, okay, like I got him here, that's good for me. But I'm in the same boat as you. I was so high on Cam Akers, and it's just I haven't really thought too much about Henderson.
Well, running backs are valuable in that offense.
Yeah.
All the time. The only concern is that it could be a committee.
Yeah.
Who knows? So I have him as a low-end running back too.
Okay.
But I like his upside. I'd rather have him than David Montgomery, Myles Gaskins, or Josh Jacobs. And they're all getting drafted around the same area as Henderson. I just feel like Henderson has more upside than those players. So personally, I like him a bit more. The floor might be a little lower, but the ceiling is higher than the roof. I also like their defense.
Yeah, their defense is good.
Their defense is good.
Yeah, good defense.
Arizona Cardinal time, Senni. Kyler Murray, quarterback 3 for me. High floor and ability to run. Exactly what you're looking for your fantasy quarterback. And you can get him at a later round than Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. So he's perfect value for me right in that sweet spot around 5. DeAndre Hopkins is an elite option. Second most receptions in the NFL last season. Only wide receiver on the team worth mentioning in my mind. I believe they have A.J. Green now. But I have absolutely no interest in him.
No, I haven't had any interest in him in years.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. But like, not
really
even
like him too, but I wouldn't touch him.
Yeah, well, there was a time where he was great, but he's an old man now.
Yeah, he suffers with turf toe like every single week.
It is. It's ridiculous. How disgusting do you think that man's feet are?
I don't want to look at him. I also am not entirely sure what turf toe is.
Vince?
I thought you made it up.
Vince's recovery sports bar.
Walmart brand and turf toe.
Sounds like something Phil would have from all his Saturday soccer games.
He might. I might have to ask
I should just
him.
move to Philly right now.
Right. Justin, how do you view the running back situation in Arizona?
I mean, there were some games last year where Edmonds was going off. He was playing well. Offers a lot in the passing game. I want James Conner to play well, but
Do you?
I don't.
I want him to play well because of the story behind him, but I just don't think he's got it in him. I don't think he's a professional running back. Which is a stupid thing to say.
That's
As
insulting.
Yeah, it really is. And he factually is. Which is why it's funny.
see,
and he's been in the league for like 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Chase Edmonds has the best value.
Yeah.
Most value on the team, but he's still only a flex option at best because
Yeah.
James Conner lingers. I have no faith in him either. So I don't see any fantasy value in him.
Yeah, that was the nicer way of what I said. I have
Yeah,
no
well,
faith
that's okay.
I'm just picturing a parent on the phone telling me you're not a professional.
You're not a professional.
teacher."
Yeah. I just don't see you as a professional teacher.
Oh,
No.
dude, I would like cry.
Yeah.
I hope James Conner never sees this. I hope the mattress does. I still want to see him.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up with the 49ers, do you have an answer on turf toe, Vince?
Turf toe is a sprain of the largest joint in your big toe. It happens when your toe is forcibly bent upwards, like when you push off into a sprint.
Oh, well, that's what he does. So maybe you should just jog his routes. Turf toe.
Or just
avoided.
retire so we can stop fucking talking about him.
Fair as well.
Yeah. Then I can talk shit about him not being a professional.
Yeah. Well, this man is clearly a professional. George Kittle,
Yeah.
most fantasy value on the 49ers. How high should he be drafted, Justin?
I'd put him similar to probably Kelsey and Waller.
Okay.
Not as high as Kelsey. I would probably feel very comfortable getting Kittle in the second or early third round if he drops there.
I'm good with that. Kelsey, I think, is by far and away the best tight end in fantasy. Kittle is my second best. I think he's very similar to Darren Waller. I'm okay with either of those guys. I have them as a third or fourth round grade, but at the turn in the second or third, I'm okay with that as well. Late second for sure. I feel like there's a ton of value at running back in the second round that I can't overlook. But if I took a stud in the first round, like one of the big three that we talk about, and then got Kittle with my second or third pick, I'd feel really good about my team, even without a wide receiver because the position is so deep. The running backs on this team, the room is just too crowded for my liking. I never trust a Shanahan running back.
That's what I was going to say. You never know who's going to get the ball.
But it's always a productive unit. And for the value you can get from drafting them, Raheem Mostert is still valuable and going very late. Trey Sermon is my favorite on the team. He's another rookie that could emerge as the season goes on, especially with Raheem Mostert's injury history, knowing that he's always banged up and is likely to miss time. Sermon is my preferred option. I like him as a late-round flyer. Raheem Mostert, I would draft as maybe my third or fourth running back and feel okay with it. But I don't think anybody on this team has absolute running back 1 or 2 value. Brandon Iuke is a player that's going late who I absolutely love. 54 targets in the last 5 games last season, which is ridiculous. He's a wide receiver 3, but the upside is tremendous. As is the same for his teammate Deebo Samuel. Injury plagued last season, but he gets enough volume to warrant consideration as a flex, especially in the later rounds, which is where they're going. Kyle Shanahan likes to get his best playmakers in space, so those guys get a lot of those like push passes where they're just running basically like an end around but in front of the quarterback, so it counts as a reception. So you get a point and then they run for 20 yards. It's a 3-point play. I mean, it's beautiful. I love it. Speaking of love, I want to give a little bit more love to my favorite position, the kickers. It's a rare division where I think every single kicker has value. I rank them as Matt Gay on the Rams, Jason Myers on the Seahawks, Matt Prater on the Cardinals, and Robbie Gold on the 49ers. So,
how old is Robbie Gold?
Vince?
Got 4 questions and 4 things to Google this week.
Let's guess while we're waiting. I'm going to say Robbie Gold is 39.
I'm going to say 37.
36.
38.
Ah, damn. All of us missed it. Well, that sucks.
I can't wait to draft Matt Gay.
Matt Gay, Senni's favorite kicker.
Just
number 1.
I just want to have Matt Lamar on my team.
Senni's picks are going to be Tim Tebow and Matt Gay.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Oh, by the way, before I wrap this up, I just want to say we recorded the South preview before Tim Tebow was cut, so you're going to have to readjust your rankings. He's not 1.1 anymore. I think he's still comfortably a second-round draft pick, easily.
If he falls.
He'll get picked up.
Yeah.
He'll get picked up. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the Fantasy Beer League. We'll be with you every Wednesday on YouTube with audio-only podcasts available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the handle FantasyBeerLG. Those are the words Fantasy Beer and the letters L and G. As always, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more half-decent advice from half-decent guys. I'm Sean Joyce. He's Justin Giel, and here's Matt Senni with his advice of the week.
If you take your girl to Applebee's, you're taking the easy way out, and you're not a real man.
Be a real man and eat it Fridays like every good man should do.